First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is who this world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai is who this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'ashem means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. Also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And I was going through YouTube, trying to get some inspiration for a lesson, and this video popped up by a brother. And before I even saw his title, I'm like, hey, yo, I'm about to talk about how everything, what does it say right here? I'm about to go throw up. Maga turns on Trump over Epstein scandal, right? And this is what we've been telling you Americans, specifically, you Trump supporters, is that Trump isn't going to do shit. He's not going to make America great again or nothing. First and foremost, because this place has been prophesied to go down, right? And no matter what laws and legislations they pass, it's not going to change that aspect. We can read that in Jeremiah chapter 50 and Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 8, it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take a balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Right? So, hey, if this place was able to be healed, it would be healed. But guess what? It's not possible. So that's the first aspect, where you're telling you people that, hey, Trump ain't gonna do shit. The other aspect is he came speaking that peace and safety. And let's see what the scriptures say about that. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3 says, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? So anybody specifically in these times that comes talking about it's going to be okay and things are going to make a comeback and we're going to do this and, speaking peace, the opposite is going to happen. Because the Most High has his eye upon this wicked-ass empire, right? He is going to destroy it. So, when we see things like this, that you have your very own patriots, diehard Americans coming up against, the very trophy president, this is exactly what we want to see. This is literally a perfectly aligning with what the prophecies say. So let's go ahead and go to where it says that. In Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 1, it says, The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Right, and this Egypt here is talking about America. Okay, it's not talking about ancient Egypt. Right, and the key there to know that is the fact that it says that the Lord is going to be riding upon a swift cloud, right? And, what links to that? Acts, the first chapter. Okay, it says in Acts, the first chapter. Let's go ahead and jump there. Acts chapter 1 and verse 9, it says, And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. Okay, and that's the key point, is that the same way the Messiah left on a cloud, which was talking about a so-called UFO, the vehicles of the angels, is the same way he's going to come back, right? And he hasn't came back yet. So that's the key point, showing you that this is talking about an end-time prophecy, right? The Lord's second return. Verse 2, it says, And I will set the Egyptians and against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, and that's exactly what we're starting to see, is we're starting to see the American come against the American. Right? It already, was engineered via the left and the right wing, but we're about to see it on a whole different level. And the fact that you have these very hard, these diehard Trumps even going at each other, that's exactly, how it's been written. It says, "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards." Right? So that spirit of America, that Americanism, patriotism of America's the best, and, the glory days, all that is going to vanish. Okay, we're going to enter times where nobody has hope in this place no more. It's just doom and gloom. And in that day, people are really going to start going towards that left hand looking for answers, because, hey, the prophets, the Lord is going to shut his men up. We're not going to be out here making videos and or going downtown prophesying anymore, because it's going to be first and foremost dangerous, and the times of mercy, the gates of mercy are going to be closed. Right? It's going to be the famine of the word, as it says in Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. So that's what we're starting to see right now, is the beginning of those birth pains. And let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse I'll read 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 15. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Right? And that's going into, people fighting each other. And what's the modern day sword? The gun. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Right? So that's going into how your average American is not going to care what your politician, your governor, your president says. It's going to be a, survival of the fittest type planet. And, that all starts with the people coming against, the people not following the narrative. Okay, I had to stop it real quick there, but I'm back chilling now. But as I was saying, we're going to get to that point of people not caring what the government says, because people are realizing that, the government is not consistent, right? They say that, first thing Trump said was that, as soon as he comes into office, he's going to reveal the Epstein files and the Epstein list and everything about Epstein. But what happens now? He comes into office and he doesn't deliver. They're coming out saying that nothing happened and there's no list and there's no clients, right? And they're just trying to brush it under the rug now. So people are like, hold up, you promised us this and you didn't give us what you promised. People are losing trust. And it's going to get to a point where this is going to happen so frequent that the people are going to lose complete trust in this government and ultimately just do whatever they want to do. And in those days, essentially, is going to be, like the purge. We can keep on reading down verse 18. It says, "For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Right? So grown men, okay, are going to be out here looking like women, because, hey, if you don't have this knowledge, truth, and understanding, you're going to be out here walking blind. It says that in Zephaniah chapter 1. Let's get that. Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 17, it says, "And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung." Right? So just because you wanted to be wicked in that day, the Lord's going to have you moving out here with no wisdom at all, not knowing what to do at all. Right? He's going to have you just lost in the sauce. So in verse 18, "Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land." Right? So summarizing that in your good old English, your money's not going to save you from a thermonuclear destruction. Right? That paper dollar you have isn't going to do shit. Right? The only way you're going to make it out of America is via the Lord. okay, is on one of those vehicles, so-called UFOs, the clouds, whatever you want to call it. So we'll read one more scripture. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right, so you're good, Joe Schmo neighbor, your homeboy, you grew up with you grew up your entire life with. Yeah, he's gonna do you dirty. He's gonna slime you out and take everything you have, because he himself is not gonna see any other option. So these are the conditions that slowly but surely, we're entering. And, look at this right here. This is why America has to go. Babylon the Great. Look at these two creatures on this thumbnail. Just completely through. The land of abominations. Every type of wickedness is here in America and has been amplified. So, hey, what's the easiest, fastest way to get rid of something? You burn it. And that's exactly what the Lord is about to do. So, hopefully this is edifying. Down to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rokah Kodash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom, Tzilah, Shalom.